Hello users and welcome back to another episodic installation of the premier hot premium program known only as Cooking with the Bitch. So today I'm going to make a soup. I'm going to make a soupy soup. I'm going to make the soupiest soup. You haven't seen a soup like this. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to make this a mushroom soup. We're going to be using some cream of mushroom as the base. And we've also got some actual mushrooms right here. But not only are there actual mushrooms here, there's also soaking underneath shiitake mushrooms. That's right, we're going to make some shit takes. We're going to produce some shit takes today. And so what you want to do first is have them soak for, as long as you want, really. But the soakier, the better. And but also, real quick, I'm going to put the mushrooms on the chopping block. And we are going to go to town. Look at that. Look at that. Got some shit takes. They're a little soggy, but what the fuck. So, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up some cans, and I've got my pot here on the side of cream of mushroom. Apologies to the vegans out there. My bad. But we're going to be putting some cream of mushroom into this pot. I got 3 cans of this. I could use a 4th if I need to, but we'll find out. All right. It's a great sound. Almost fucking killed myself on the goddamn there. Alright, so I got a pot full of cream of mushroom. Excellent. Alright, so let's throw that fucking spoon in there. I'm also going to throw some olive oil in there just to get some flavor mixture. You want all kinds of flavors here, so I'm putting some olive oil in there. Alright, so now what I want to do is I washed all my mushrooms off. I soaked them. I want to cut some of these up. So shiitake mushrooms, they're pretty good. Honestly, I've only had them a couple of times. This might be like one of my first times actually cooking with them. And so, they're packed with flavor, folks. You love flavor. They're also hard to cut. Doesn't matter if you cut those, though. It's less important to cut the shiitakes. More important to cut the button mushrooms. I think that's what they're called. Something like that. And so, just cut these fuckers up as much as you can. Yeah, these shiitakes are extra soaked. Fully rehydrated. If you get some water in your soup, that's fine. I don't mind a creamy soup. I don't mind a soup that is watery and creamy. I like all kinds, right? So that's my goal, is to make the soup as interesting as possible. I've got some sliced carrots, a can of sliced carrots that I'm going to be throwing in there as well. And we're going to make a mushroom-based soup here. That's the idea. Because mushrooms are cool. I've been really enjoying learning how to cook with mushrooms more. In my opinion, it's one of the best foods out there. It's better than meat by a long shot. If you're still eating meat, you're a fucking prick. That said, again, apologies to the vegans out there. There is some cream in this cream of mushroom. So, harm reduction, baby. Harm reduction. So, just finish chopping these up. And what we're going to do is we're going to start cooking this soup with the mushrooms in there before we put anything else in. We're going to heat it up very soon. We'll start heating it, and then, and only then, we'll start adding some goodies to it. So I'm going to bring this over to the stove, and I'm going to put it on the stove. what you can see here is I've got some horseradish mustard. I'm going to toss a little bit of that in, just, you know, throw it in there. Thicken it up a little bit because I want to offset. I'm going to put some water in there. So I got some water here. This is some water. It's drinking water, drinking grade water. And I want to just pour a little bit in there. In fact, maybe I'll bring the camera over here so we can see this as I'm doing it. And then we'll bring it back momentarily. It's already heating up a little bit. So just enough water. I'm going to turn this down. Just enough water to kind of loosen it up. The water, you're going to cook it off as it's cooking as well. So, you know, if it is a little bit too liquidy, again, cream of mushroom for the sake of the mushroom. You know, if it is liquidy, it's liquidy. What are you going to do? Except for cook it off a little bit. And so, while that's happening, what I want to do is I want to cook some pasta in there. So what I'm going to do, now, this is a little, you know, so what we're going to do is we're going to break off a couple of chunks of pasta, noodles, spaghetti noodles, only a little bit. Now, again, I would never think of doing this in any other context, but what I want to do is I want to break some of them. I like variety in my soups, you know, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break them in half. All right, you can see that. Then I'm going to break them in half again. All right, now they got everywhere, but that's fine. Dump them in. And so the reason I'm putting the dry pasta in there is because it's going to be cooking for a while. I want to cook this probably around, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes. And I want to have the pasta in there so the pasta is cooking along with it. And again, you know, some of the water is going to evaporate. It just cooks within there. That's how I do it. You can do everything separately. But for me, when I make a soup, what I like is to use as little material as possible. I like to do everything in one pot. And that's my method. We got some carrots here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half of the carrots in the soup. And we'll save the other bits to put them in a little bit later. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut up some tofu. We need a little bit more protein in here, so I'm going to grab some of that. So I got some tofu here. I'm not going to be, again, cooking the tofu in any way other than just how it cooks in the soup itself. So got some tofu. And, you know, there you go. You know, you don't have to squeeze that much water out of it because it is going in the soup, so the water will cook out if it needs to. But I just want, you know, a little bit, some chunks, you know. Everyone likes chunks in their food. There's like a fucking fly on the wall. Let me try to kill this fucker. No, they're gone. All right. Everyone likes chunks in their soup. And so tofu provides a little bit of that. You can use, honestly, whatever you want as far as like a meat supplement goes. Or just like a chunky supplement. I know a lot of people love their meats, but we don't do meat on this bullshit because if you eat meat, you're a piece of garbage. And no, I will not walk that back. Go fuck yourself. Anyway, I say eating cream of mushroom. But at least it's not meat, bud. So anyway, just going to put some chunks in there. Little, you know, big chunks, you know, smaller chunks. You make the chunks however you want. I'm going to pop these in. So one thing about cream of mushroom is you do want to be stirring it as much as you can. I like to put it on a low heat, let it heat up a little bit, and then like kind of raise the heat, lower the heat. But we'll be getting into that in a little bit here. Let me just get the rest of these ingredients in. All right, so I want to address a controversy for a moment. I'm going to be making some garlic here. I have had a little bit of, let's be honest, an outrageous amount of pushback on how I create my garlic. A lot of people are like, smash it with the knife, it's so much easier. But my response to that is, if you smash this shit with a knife, it ruins the texture. And, you know, some people are like, hey, when you smash it, it releases allicin, bruh. Yeah, you know what else releases allicin in the garlic? Chewing it, motherfucker. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't do that bullshit. I like to peel them all. I know it's a little tedious. I understand it can be tedious. I like to cut them in half and then just peel them that way. That's the way that I do it. I'm going to lower this heat real quick. So, yeah, that's just how I do it. If you disagree, honestly, you're a piece of shit. And I hope that you unsubscribe. In a very serious way. I'm not joking at all when I say that. I think you're scum. I think you're worse than a Republican. And Republicans are pretty bad. So, you know, that's a pretty impressive feat. So yeah, you know how this shit is annoying as hell. I understand it's annoying as hell. But, you know, whatever. It's part of the art. That one's a little fucked up. It's part of the art. You know, we're here making art here. I like to make my food art. I'm an artist. And I like to make my food as arty as possible. And hearty. I like it to be hearty as well as arty. And so even though this shit's annoying, it's frustrating. Nobody likes it. But, you know, cheating, you know, skipping all the good parts, that's no way to live life. That's no way to live life. So anyway, I just wanted to address that controversy. That kind of shit really, you know, again, and I say this with complete sincerity. I know I'm sarcastic a lot in general. But I mean, like, you really can't replicate the feeling of biting into a good clove. It's so good. Oh, man. Wow. Like, if you bite that, if you go into that when it's already smashed up, you know what you're doing? You know what you're doing? You're reducing the experience. You're making the experience of eating raw garlic, you know, like something a kid would do. If you're like 6 years old, you know, 6-year-olds, maybe eating raw garlic's a little much for them. But if you're like at least, you know, maybe 15, you can handle it. What are you, a fucking, like, what are you, a crybaby coward? Garlic is one of the best foods in the world. I love garlic. Huge garlic super fan. So we're getting some garlic in here. All right, so let's check in on this soup. I'm going to drop the garlic in there. Raise the heat a little bit. Now again, this is how I like to make soups. I like to make everything in one pot. And I like to add things to it as it's cooking. You know, because it's just a variety of, like, you know, certain levels of freshness, certain levels of cooked. You know, if I were paying more attention, I'd have added the garlic, you know, a little bit more over the course of a period of time, you know, whatever. But I'd just dump it all in at once. So now it's the spice time. We're going to be putting some chili powder in this motherfucker. You can't have soup without chili powder unless you're a fucking idiot. We're going to throw some oregano in this bitch. Check that out. That's incredible. Happy to be alive. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to dump the rest of the carrots in. Excellent. Let's see, what do we got here? Got some basil. Everyone loves basil. Let's throw some of that shit in there. Yeah. All right. Last but not least, we got some crushed red pepper. The delivery person, they just dropped something off. Max is freaking the fuck out. This is some potentially behind the scenes content. Whoa. Alright, so let's stir this fucker up. So again, it's still a little bit watery. One of the things about cream of mushroom is it's probably going to be sticking a little bit. You know, whatever. It's just part of the process. I'm going to raise the heat a little bit. About medium heat. Personally, for me, the thickness right now is about what I want. I want it to be a little bit watery, but a little thick. You know, I like that middle territory. Soups that are super thick to me, they're okay. I like them, you know, and I like water-based soups, but I like that middle ground where it's like a little creamy, a little thick, but also watery enough that, you know, you can mix everything with it. It cooks really nicely. And again, we're going to be cooking the water off as we go. As you can see, some of these noodles are bending. They're getting more cooked. I like them, you know, to be around the al dente territory when they're a part of the soup. A little small bit of crunch to it is good. You know, just a little bit. So I'm going to be adding another ingredient, some salsa, store brand. I will not be adding some salsa. I can't open it. All right, let's dump this in just a little bit. You know, chunks. Salsa's got its own kind of flavor to it. It's a little thickness. It adds some color to the soup, makes it gray out a little bit. You know, you got the red, you got the white, that kind of stuff. Yeah, look at this soup. You know, the angle here is not the greatest. What can I do? You want me to zoom in? Check this out. Yeah. Excellent. So this has been cooking for maybe about 15 minutes. What I like to do is let it, you know, just reduce the heat a little bit, put the lid on, and you can let it sit for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, cook up a little bit more. You know, you got yourself a soup. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's going to be the soup. So I will be back maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll see how it tastes. All right, everyone, I made a fucking fatal error. A fatal error. I'm going to die any minute now. And that's right. That fatal error was forgetting onions. Let's pop them in. Yeah, splash all over me, baby. Mmm. Woo! So get some onions in there. So, you know, the onions aren't going to be cooking in there as much as I would have liked. But you know what? This soup getting pretty close to where I want it. Let me give it a taste test. All right. Taste test. Got that noodle hanging off. Let's see what we got. The noodle's good. Oh, man. The flavor. There's a depth of flavor. All the mushrooms cooking in there kind of like meld the flavor into one. The shiitake mushroom flavor is all over this. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good. Now, again, you can leave this cooking as long as you want. Some people say cooking soups over a longer period of time, you know, makes them taste better. The flavors meld together a little bit. But, I mean, it's ready to serve whenever you want. Soup is super easy to make a large quantity of. You can just kind of throw it in a bowl and freeze it. You know, again, once again on this show, hashtag I love leftovers, motherfucker. Because you can't be cooking all day, every day. A lot of you motherfuckers have kids out there. Can you fucking imagine? Right? So it's always good whenever you are going to cook. It's always good to, you know, make enough so that if you ever, if you're, whatever happens in your life, you got some home-cooked meals. All you got to do is thaw it out, throw it in the microwave, put it in the fridge, whatever. And I want to teach that kind of thing. That's the mentality that I want to be teaching. A lot of people think, I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to cook. Woo! That's what they think. Why? Because they're fucking brainwashed. They're brainwashed by big fast food. All these companies that say, yes, get your McDonald's, get your Wendy's. You don't have time to cook at home. We'll give you fast food. If you can even cook once a week and make enough meals to put in the fridge, or even twice a week. If you can't do once or twice a week, then I don't even know why you have time to watch this video. I mean, your life is in shambles, motherfucker. But anyway, I would like to impart that kind of wisdom. I don't feel like cooking every day. I barely do. I barely cook like maybe twice a week, thrice a week. And I love to eat leftovers. And again, so this soup is ready to eat whenever you want. You can let it sit longer if you'd like. You can use like, slow cooker, Instant Pot, that kind of thing if you want to like cook it in a different fashion. Soups are real. There's a lot of soup going on. And I've made a couple of Cooking with the Bitch videos on soup in the earlier season, the pre-season 2 season. That's right, there's more content if you haven't seen it. I did a couple of these videos. I think I did like 8 of them or so. In 2020, 2021. And I did make some soups at that point. I will be making some more soups. I've learned a lot about soup, and I want to share it with the world. But yeah, this is pretty much good to go. I mean, as you can see, little bubbly, heat coming off, right? The cream is definitely getting colored. And that's pretty much the ideal scenario for what we're making here. So again, more soup. If you have more people to feed, add more of the ingredients. I don't know, it's not that difficult, you know, it's not, if you're feeding 7 people, add 7 people's worth of ingredients. I don't know, add 15 people's worth of ingredients, and then you got fucking leftovers. That's all you need. And so what I like to do after I serve the soup is I like to have my own hot sauces ready. I like to put some other spices in there. You know, for me, I try to put a base layer of spice in there. It's super diluted because of its, the fact that it's a big pot of soup. But I like to, put some hot sauce on top of it, just because I'm a spice fiend. And that's the kind of shit that I do. But anyway, soup, pretty simple, pretty easy. Anyone can do it. And you can make leftovers for days. And it's just super convenient. And I love soup. And shiitake mushrooms are yummy. Look them up at your grocery store. Check them out if you haven't. I love mushrooms. And I'm going to be trying to cook with more mushrooms, more kinds of mushrooms in the future. I think that it's a very underrated, field of culinary delight. And don't worry about that noise. But anyway, again, thank you all for watching Cooking with the Bitch. I will be back next week. And I don't know what I'm going to make yet, but it'll be good. Max, why are you being so silly? You're so silly. Alright. People think, I don't